That's the plan.
Oh,
Um, all right. All right. My hair looks like shit. Okay. So, welcome to Maria and Clark's Unpopular Prog Show. Uh, so nice to have an official first show. We were actually really wanted to start sooner, but so many of our friends were sick. It's just been kind of a rough couple months. That being said, I just want to dedicate this episode, our very first, to David Westbay, who is one of the greatest prog enthusiasts of all times. He was one of the greatest people, one of the greatest fans you'll ever know. I mean, he and his wife, Pat, were two of my favorite people. And it's just been a really hard time uh, um, moving on without him. And so I hope that the next concert you attend, you will dedicate to David, but only if it's a good concert.
David will be with us in spirit the entire cruise.
And he was a huge Yes fan.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And it was great to spend time with him at Prague Stock. So definitely missing him and others who we've lost over the last year. So
No, there have been a lot. So yeah, definitely dedicated to him. And does anybody know about any good concerts coming up
hmm.
aside from the cruise?
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
I think there is something happening sometime soon in Montreal that I wish that we were probably all visiting and attending. But many of our friends are up in Montreal attending the Marillion weekend. So I'm sure that that's going to be a wonderful time. Looking forward to seeing the set list and hearing all the great stories of friends having a wonderful time sharing the music of Marillion. So that should be a lot of fun.
So Marie, what do you think of the schedule for the
Oh,
cruise?
the schedule just came out. Oh shit. Ah, you know what? I don't think it's that bad.
Well, are we going to complain and or argue about the fact that the laminates this year are not red and blue, but orange and green? Ooh.
No, I don't get it. I don't know why they changed. I have no idea. But the whole, like, did they not consider like the Irish meaning of like, the Catholics versus the Christians?
Right.
Whoa. Uh-oh.
There's your ceiling.
Well, so I guess we have a cat visiting you tonight for our show.
Yeah, yeah. She's so helpful. Thank you, Claudia. Um, yeah, I don't know, but
The one conflict of Hackett, IQ, and von Hertzen seems to be a big topic on Facebook. You know,
Yeah, that's going to be day two in the early evening, and I would agree that that one is probably quite the struggle for people deciding on which one to attend, and yeah, I think Marie's leaving because she's not happy with the schedule.
yeah, I just gotta go.
So if you haven't noticed yet, let me at least just share this. We're going to focus a lot on the cruise during today's inaugural episode. And we're going to try to share some behind the scenes, some great info for people that are brand new to the cruising world and or this might be their first time on Cruise to the Edge. So we'll go through some questions, we'll do our best ofs, we'll do all kinds of different things just to kind of share um, our experiences with the cruise and what to look forward to and things that we're most excited about for the 2025 cruise. So let Marie take over. Is there anything specific you wanted to share?
Yeah, so there have been a lot of like cruise guides put out there. Yeah, something I did with Bonnie Diver not too long ago. That was a lot of fun, just talking with her about cruise going and such. But we didn't get to address is, there are questions that I asked some of my friends who have actually played on the cruise, and I'm just like, what? So there's the stuff you can look up on the website,
Okay.
and then there's the stuff that like you just learn, like the etiquette, like the unwritten rules, right? So I asked a few friends, and if you want to go and meet artists, like that's great. It's actually the perfect place to do that. You're trapped on a boat. I mean, they're trapped on a boat.
We're
I'm
trapped.
trapped on a boat. But uh, but there are a couple of things you should know. So
Is this more on like an etiquette side of things of how to approach and deal with some of the musicians?
yes, and I only ask them because, yeah, I mean they're not normally bothered when I approach them, but when it comes to other people. Um, so one of the biggest themes was like, don't bother me when I'm eating.
Mm, that makes sense.
Not everybody feels that way, but at the same time, it's like, how jam-packed this cruise is and like how gnarly it is just trying to get everything seen and eat and sleep and all those things. So, eating should not be taken for granted. And when an artist is eating, and that's the weird thing too, is like you're in the buffet and there's not always a lot of seats. Like I've had to, scooch in next to an artist just because there was no seating available.
That's true. I would agree with that.
I was on the first cruise. I was on there was one table left, and it was three of us, and then it was the guitarist from Spock Spirit and his wife, and we were all going for the table at the same time. So I was like, "Oh, would you can sit with us." And then, I proceeded to like interview him for 30 minutes while we're eating, which he actually enjoyed. He he seemed to like the fact that I knew who he was, and I knew I was a fan.
Well, I do think I will say this. So if I'm waiting in line for, let's say, an omelet and I'm standing next to Dave Kersner, I'm absolutely saying hello and finding out what he's putting into his omelet and probably having a little bit of a conversation.
Well, he does have the quarantine cooking site on Facebook, so
He does cook, so I would actually ask him about his omelet. Otherwise, like, but yeah, he seems like he knows how to work in the kitchen. But you have to be careful with these prog artists.
Okay.
Okay? You do, especially around mealtime, because some of them can be very food aggressive.
Mm.
Watch out. Like, hey,
So,
want some
I
French
guess
fry?
popping in and talking to Ian Mosley while he had a spoonful of spaghetti getting ready to go into his mouth. I think I was just going to wait a little bit to chat with him.
I had a moment where Steve Howe was at the table next to us, and as I was sitting down, he got up for something. He looked at me, and I looked at him, and then it was just kind of like, yeah, because I've always heard, he doesn't like to be approached. So, but he was looking at me like almost in a welcome manner. You know what I mean? So it was kind of like, what do I do?
Nice. I do think it's actually kind of cool sometimes if you're in the crowd and you just happen to be standing next to someone and you're enjoying a band together. That's
Right.
kind of cool. And that's one of the special things about the cruise is that
Uh-huh.
you're going to have access to people.
Brings me to my second most requested don't fuck with the artist point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, coming up to them like during a meal, not great, but could be worse. I only did it once. John Lodge, my first cruise, 2017.
It was nice. We were like the only two people in the hallway, and I was like, "Hey, how you doing? Can I get a picture?"
Oh, you go for hallway photos?
He was very friendly. He was.
No, he is friendly, and that's the thing. Like he's got like his family and a bodyguard, and I didn't want to be that person, but I was just like, I'm just gonna walk by. I'm just gonna tell him. I'm gonna be like, "Hey, I love your solo stuff." I just like kept going.
If I ever
Um,
meet him again, I'll just say, lovely to see you again, my friend.
so
Probably the first time he would hear that ever.
Yeah, yeah, that would be amazing. Yeah. But that is one of the, in the hallway and in the elevators, it's very, very cool. I met Steve Morse in an elevator, and that was nice.
Yeah, and they're just regular people. You're going to be in an elevator and you're going to run into somebody, and I know in some situations it can be a little, you can be starstruck.
Right.
But, saying hello and you enjoying the cruise, things like that. I mean, it's small talk. It's just going to be a cool thing that you're going to be able to talk about when you get home and be like, wow, you'll never guess who I ran into in the elevator on Cruise to the Edge. I'm not sure, but why don't we actually pop into that? Do you guys have any opinions or thoughts on things like buying 18 bottles of water before and having that in your room, or buying the drink package, or some of the other things that are available to us as cruisers? Miss Ambassador, any comments?
I have a lot of comments, none of which I can actually say here. Um, but back to
Wait, you could say them. I'll just edit them out.
I'll say it. A lot of them are overpriced.
all overpriced. That's the whole point.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know. So my thing, I think, when you go on the cruise is like, find a bartender you like, tip them way over whatever is normal because they all work for like nothing. Um, and yeah, that's really, I don't think you need a package uh, to do that, even if you do drink that much. But
Well, me personally, my feedback is that I don't think that I could drink enough to make it worthwhile to do the drink package. And that's
but see, that's the thing. Like, if I had to, I would, and I'd be able to, but I don't want to do that.
right. Either way, you have to give your card. They're going to swipe your card. And one way they swipe it, they give you a receipt and you give them a tip and you kind of finalize the number.
And then in the morning.
I don't know. I mean, ultimately, as long as you have your room card with you wherever you go, that's not only going to get you into your room, but that's going to get you access to anything you want to do from a standpoint of either buying, I'm assuming like a Starbucks or some type of coffee. To I know they had fresh fruit. Do you remember when you walked out to the pool deck where the pool stage was?
We had a smoothie there.
Yeah, the smoothie bar was wonderful. And then, of course, anything else as far as the beers and alcohol and mixed drinks and all that, obviously at any bar you can get all that stuff. So,
I've also seen people say that they booked an excursion and then found out that, like Magic Pie's playing at 2 o'clock, and that's why they went on the cruise or stuff. My advice would be to not book excursions you know, until you find out what the schedule is, and the schedule could always change too. So, but you have to be aware of that if you're going, especially if it's one of the top three bands that you want to see.
mhm.
You don't want to be caught, skinny dipping.
No, it makes sense. But I mean, listen, as long as we're not in Cozumel 3 or 4 different times for ports, I think there will be a nice selection of options for us as far as some fun things. I saw swimming with pigs, which looked kind of cool to me. I don't know. Am I the only one that thinks that looks kind of cool?
No, it's the coolest thing I ever saw.
Be prepared to that a band might be playing at 2 o'clock that you like.
True, true. No, I completely agree.
Okay, but that's been called swimming with the pigs.
So another quick question for you guys. I have a nice little list here that I'm gonna rattle off, hopefully to get some good answers. So one of the things I was curious about that I have heard is that you might be able to bring some alcohol in your bag. Is that true or false? I've heard things like that you can bring 2 bottles of wine.
So they would let you bring 2 bottles of wine per cabin.
Okay.
And so I had done that over the years. But now with the new ship, well, these are the things I can't say because I don't want to.
I have read that they might restrict that this year. I don't know if that's true or not.
No, there's actually no restriction. So what some of my friends did was they bought cheap bottles of wine,
Mhm.
out, put liquor in them, sealed them back up, and somehow got it past customs.
Interesting. Well, there you go.
All the other years, everybody just did the whole like shampoo,
Right.
conditioner, bottle, uh, look-alike thing.
So Vidal Sassoon is now making vodka.
Yes,
Okay.
it's Vidal Saloon.
Nice.
The trouble, if you put beer in there, it might make your hair go flat,
That's true. Good point.
Oh, not if you're bubbly enough.
or the beer goes flat.
So this is, of course, a music cruise, and a lot of us have signed up because of the fact that we are huge fans of progressive rock. That being said, does anyone know of any other activities that happen on the ship other than the concerts for people that may or may not want to be in a concert for the entire cruise?
There's painting classes, and I believe that Casey McPherson's doing another benefit this year, right?
Yep, Casey's got his benefit, so that of course benefits his daughter Rose, and he's going to be doing a private concert. And I believe he's got some food and hors d'oeuvres and drinks, and I think even a special laminate that he's making for the event. And so that should be really a lot of fun. And I think that they also have on the cruise, there's also an auction, and I think the auction helps to benefit Casey's charity. So definitely things to think about and sign up for if you're looking for some fun. Last year, I
Mhm.
remember that Nick DiVirgilio and who else? Ross Jennings and Neil Morse performed some special songs during the performance at Casey's event. And I remember that Christina performed on violin as well. And I think she's coming back this year. And if I'm not mistaken, this might be maybe too much information, but I think she might even be able to play one of her own original songs at this year's benefit. So definitely a must see in my opinion. So buy your tickets quickly before it sells out.
The picture they have to promote it has Casey and her on it, so I think that says something. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. So I know she had a great time last year at the event, and I'm sure that it'll be amazing again this year. So definitely a must-see event for me. And hopefully, if you have an opportunity to buy some tickets and help the cause, I believe tickets are $100, and they went on sale, I think, this afternoon. So hopefully, some tickets are still available. How about bringing collectibles, like things that you might want to get signed by a band? Like if you have either, I don't know, like a vinyl collection or some things that you want to get signed.
That's
Thoughts?
that's another good one because that was also some of the feedback that I got was that um, yeah, bother them during lunch, whatever, but show up and like want 10 things signed. Weird. Don't do that. Yeah, don't do that.
Limit to one if you're going to get something signed. Would that be pretty fair?
Huh?
Limit it to one item?
Well, I mean, at least just a couple, but like, there are thousands of people on that cruise. And here's another thing with the artists, like if they're out and about, like in public, they want to be. So like approach them. Like you can say something, you can say hi, like whatever, that's cool. If they don't want to be out there, they won't be out there.
Mhm.
So just know that if they're out there, they want to be there. But they're also, aside from working, this is one of my biggest things that I've heard from artists, aside from the eating thing, is that don't bother me while I'm watching a concert,
Mm.
which I'm the same way. I'm like, interrupt my conversation, like, bother me during dinner, like all of that stuff. I don't give a shit. Don't bug me during a concert.
I like that.
Yeah,
Oh,
well,
okay. So on the theme of concerts, I know a lot of us are shutterbugs and often like to take photos during concerts. What are the rules on the ship? Anybody know the rules of what can and cannot be done?
there aren't any specific rules, but yeah, I don't know. I've never pulled my phone out during a concert.
Okay. So if I'm, let's say I'm, an aspiring photographer, concert photographer, whatever, and I've brought my gear, which is probably a higher end camera than a point and shoot or what you get with your phone, are they able to use that and will they be able to take pictures during a concert?
Were you hired to take pictures?
No. I like the band and I want to have some pictures. So do I just let the pros who are doing it for the ship do that and just kind of sit back and enjoy the show?
I think the big thing is you don't want to be blocking anybody's view. You know what I mean? Like you standing up and or if you have doing it on your phone and you're holding it up, blocking the guy behind you. I think that's a big no-no. If you're off to the side and you're taking pictures and you, you're not bothering anybody, I don't think that. I know some bands have it in different venues where you can't. They don't want you taking pictures and then selling them and all that.
Hmm.
But I haven't heard anything on the cruise about that. So
Okay, good to know. So I guess if I'm going to do it, I want to make sure that I'm not blocking anybody. I'm
right.
probably not going to get access in the pit to take photos, but if I want to do it, just kind of be cognizant.
Nobody likes a prog blocker.
Prog blocker.
Don't
You
prog block me, yo. So, no, no, no. Does anyone know about the new IQ album?
yes, I've heard the one track the No Dominion I think it's called really good. Very I was very impressed by it. I also love the new Car Mechanic. I think that's an excellent record.
Car Mechanic. Oh my gosh, I've seen them like a bunch of times. Um, and I know Jonas said he was working on some new stuff, but I have not listened to the new Car Mechanic.
Yeah, you got to check that out. It's definitely.
Well, so mentioning the fact that IQ has a new album, um, what's the deal with merchandise and buying stuff, whether it be albums or concert tees, things like that? How does that work on the ship?
It actually goes pretty fast. So you
Okay.
should like bring cash, first of all, American money. And Yeah, buy quickly because they don't bring everything with them. They can't. It's a freaking cruise ship. So
So
they
if you
bring
want
what
the
they can.
shirt that says IQ on Cruise to the Edge, buy that one like day one.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
Mhm. That wasn't it. Yeah, I like even
Yeah.
s'mores.
I heard some special things were happening. Like I've seen, I know Pendragon is bringing, I believe, a 40th anniversary box set that is going to be available on the ship, and they have lowered the price to accommodate, I believe, free shipping or equivalent to free shipping since you're only going to be walking it back to your room. So no shipping fees for that. But yeah, I'm super excited to see some of the things that'll be available. And if I'm not mistaken, on the pool deck to the side of the stage is where most of the merchandise is sold. Is that correct for all of the artists? Okay, perfect. All right, so be prepared if you are coming to the cruise. How about excursions? And I know you did bring that up, Clark, but is there anything that as cruisers that we should look to either pre-purchase or book a some type of a reservation to make the cruise experience a little bit better? Well, the reason that was more of a layup question that I probably can answer on my own. So why don't I go to the answer, which is that if there's any special food issues or allergies that you need to deal with, you want to make sure that you communicate with the ship right away, so that they can prepare meals for you, and you'll probably eat in a specific dining room and have someone kind of set aside to you so that you have all your food allergies taken care of. But if there are any special restaurants that you might want to eat at, that would be something that you might want to set aside and make a reservation for early. And of course, now that that schedule's out, we then can be in a position to say, hey, day number 3 or day number 4 is a good day for us to do dinner at the Brazilian steakhouse, or doing sushi, um, or the hibachi, cooking, something like that. Those would be things you can set.
But that actually just reminds me about the surprise David Cross band on the ship thing.
Oh, you noticed that in the
And
schedule?
yeah, is nobody gonna talk about that?
I think, and this is just me,
God
but
can tell me.
I think that when Leprous canceled, that they may have said, "Hey, do you guys want to come on and be on the ship as well as being a part of the pre-cruise concert?"
But why wouldn't they tell us?
That is above my pay grade. I don't know. Um, I have
Hmm.
an interesting one, and this doesn't necessarily apply to me, but I'm sure some of the people that are on the ship are smokers, cigarette smokers. Is there somewhere for them to actually smoke on the ship?
Yeah, there's a smoking section.
Oh, cool. Okay. Good to know.
Yeah,
Good to know.
plenty of them.
What about people with disabilities? Maybe they might be in a wheelchair. They could potentially be on crutches. They may have some type of difficulty getting around. Anything specific to be aware of or to know?
Well, the ship offers ADA compatible rooms and all of that. And, someone had asked this question, and just knowing from, a friend of mine, our Prague chairwoman.
Okay.
Do you remember Toby?
Oh, for sure. I saw Toby this week at a life science concert in Maryland.
Yeah. She's our chairwoman. And yeah, she's never had a hard time seeing a show or like anybody else. And just like that person I told who had posted that, I'm just like, I don't think there's anything specific, but we will take care of you because that's what we do.
Nice.
I never really went to a lot of the Q&As. It was never my thing. I was just like, there's only so much time for, concerts and like sleep and eating and all that stuff. So I hadn't gone to a lot of them.
Mm.
But the last one that I went to, when Mike Portnoy announced that he was going to be back in Dream Theater, I was just like, and that's not even a band I'm into, but I was like, oh shit. What is this happening? No, we were sitting there and it was like, I know some people said that, oh, they saw it coming or whatever, but I didn't. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah, that is pretty big news for, especially for Dream Theater fans. You know, they're like, oh my God.
Oh, that was gnarly. What a way to announce it
Yeah, for
as
sure.
well, because like this wasn't in front of like an entire global audience that they have. This was on this tiny little cruise ship that, I mean, granted, there are like 3,000 of us, but at the same time, like it's kind of a small sample.
Yeah. I mean, he was on stage. It was him, Neil, and Casey, and it was, I mean, they're just sitting there, talking about their different band experiences and how they all got together. And then all of a sudden it came out, and I was like, I think you and I like looked at each other and were like, did we just hear what we think we heard?
I I didn't, yeah, didn't really connect. I was just kind of like,
Yeah.
okay, like, is this actually happening? We'll
Yeah.
see. Looks like it's happening.
The 2017 cruise, which was my first cruise, I
Okay.
woke up,
Cruise.
for day two, I woke up and I saw there was a Kansas Q&A in the theater. And I was like, oh, I'll go check that out.
Oh my
I walk
God.
in and they were doing a surprise 5-song acoustic set, which was, pretty pretty cool. I was like, wow, I wasn't expecting that at all.
And I think that's really the beauty of the cruise, because there's so much cross-pollination where
Mhm.
you can have somebody either that sits in on a show that
Mhm.
you completely didn't expect, and that can be makes it a one-off show that is one for the ages.
Right.
Or you can be in a situation where someone may get back together that you never thought was going to be performing, like Casey last year having Nick play with Neil and Ross. I mean, that was pretty special. And now, they're performing this year on the cruise. So that's pretty amazing.
Yeah, Flying Colors did that on 2017. They weren't announced, and all of a sudden they popped up on stage and started doing a set, and I was like, as part of it was like a Portnoy set, but nobody announced that it was going to be Flying Colors, so that was pretty wild.
So any predictions of what might occur on this ship? What do you think might be a specialty that we didn't really expect, but based on the fact that everyone's on the ship together, could actually happen? Marie, thoughts?
You mean as like a collaboration thing?
Yeah, I mean, listen, Rick Wakeman's on and his son is on. That's kind of cool.
Right.
That'd be pretty neat if the two of them were together doing something. Since no one remembers the name of that one, do either of you have a prediction of something special that might happen on this cruise?
A King Crimson reunion.
That's hilarious
Marie, do
and
you have one?
adorable. No, I have no predictions. I just think that like this is the best lineup that the cruise has ever had.
Agreed.
And wow, it's gonna be incredible.
Gonna be
It's gonna
awesome.
be so incredible.
So, is it safe to drink the water on the ship?
No,
Okay. So, what would you recommend? Getting some bottles?
yeah.
Just buying a couple bottles of water.
Hmm.
All right. I'm just
Or just drink the whiskey.
even better, even better. Um, I know that we are kind of post-COVID and everyone is hopefully safe and there aren't any issues, but of course sometimes there's discussion and when you pop into the buffet area, you always get the washy-washy. So is there any restrictions at this point? Is there anything that needs to be done with regard to being vaccinated or providing any type of card or anything like that for the ship?
Not that I
Yeah, don't breathe when you're around people.
Okay,
no breathe.
got it.
None of that. You can exhale. That's fine.
Oh, just don't inhale?
Don't inhale.
Okay.
Thank God. Okay.
Um, Best piece of advice you would give somebody brand new, Clark. Let's see what you got. Best piece of advice for people going on a cruise for the first time.
A music cruise.
If if there are two bands playing at the same time that you want to see, you can break it up and do like a half hour one and a half hour the other, and that way at least you get to experience both of them.
Okay,
But if there's a band you love, you're not going to walk away.
I like it. I like it. Marie, one piece of advice you would give a new cruiser.
Uh, Pack lightly and be flexible.
I like it. I tend to agree with you on that one. And what I was going to share is that um, I know that everybody goes through and looks at the schedules and marks down and says, "Hey, this is the show I absolutely have to see, and here's how my day is going to go." But I think being flexible is probably
Ridiculous.
the absolute best advice that you can have because things are going to happen. Shows are going to get delayed. Um, Someone might lose a bass guitar and it holds up a show or
Dude, my whole thing about like pack lightly, and then someone was asking like, "Oh, can you get your own stuff to your room?" It's like, no. And like Tony Levin couldn't even get his bass
Instrument.
his Chapman
Right.
stick.
Yeah,
his
that was
fucking
terrible.
chocolate stick to his room. And I'm just like, oh shit.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah,
gnarly.
that was really rough
Gnarly
too.
that I'm seeing him in the hallway when he's supposed to be on stage, or gnarly that somebody else sat in and it was probably a once in a lifetime show for the people that saw
Yeah.
everyone except Tony Levin performing.
Okay,
But
that's
Adam
true.
Holtzman sat in on key.
He did. Yeah, I
They
know.
basically just jammed and because he didn't know all the keyboard parts.
But
But
still a totally cool one-off experience to have that happen.
yes, there is something unique about that. So
Yeah. So I
and
think I
another thing
think
I would say is bring some ear protection because there's some bands that play rather loud.
hmm, okay. I would agree with that, and I think Saga set a record at Prague Stock. Um, so yeah, that might be louder than the planes that fly over the pre-concert at the
Right.
Magic City Casino. So I believe that we're now heading to a quick question for everyone, and no thought on this, just kind of off the cuff. Uh, Top three shows that you've seen on the cruise. Marie?
Mm, mm, mm.
You guys have a little bit more experience with more years under your belt, so I know
Like
that's gonna
ever
be
top three? Oh, fudge. Oh, oh. No, I definitely know them. I just
should
can't
we
believe
should
you're
we go to a
asking
commercial real quick and allow you to think?
me this. So, oh gosh. Um, One of my favorites that pops into mind was I think it was my first cruise, and uh, it was Dave Kersner Band on the pool stage.
Okay.
And there was something about, I don't know, like the wind, like blowing in everyone's hair. And it was just like, I don't know. It was cool. I liked it.
Nice.
Um, Martin Barr in the Spinnaker.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Absolutely. And then Marillion in the theater.
Right.
And
My,
I'm going to have to add to that. I believe, if I'm understanding correctly, this is the one where Nick Beggs was on tour with the band because Pete was ill. No, that's not the show you're talking about? Okay.
No, that's not the one.
Oh,
The
which
one
show are
was
you
when
talking about?
I had my own room, and like I'd point out that you book sooner, you get better seats, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
On the cruise. That's usually how it's been. So I had, yeah, signed up alone that year and sat in the front row.
Wow.
That was cool. Um, but I had met Stephen Rothery at the pre-cruise party, and I was just like, "Hey, like, I don't know you, but my son and I, like, Yes was always our favorite band, but you have quickly become like our second favorite band."
Oh, that's awesome.
That's what I told him.
Oh,
And,
nice.
and so over the next like couple of years, I'd be in the front row, and he would just be like, "Hmm." Like he does his little thing. He's
Yeah. Yep.
it's like so sweet. Um,
But he'll make
and
he makes eye contact and you definitely know it's coming to you.
I know it was so adorable. I know he makes his fans feel very special, and I appreciate that.
Awesome.
So, but not everybody can do that. And but I feel like Dave does that. Um, who I'm really looking forward to seeing is the South American guitarist. What's her name? Oh, she is so good. You know what? She reminds me of like, um, so, uh, instrumental bands like need to tell a story without lyrics. And like she can do that. She can do that as well as like Travis Larson,
Oh,
um, who is a good friend of mine and a great guitarist, also a part of a trio. And she has the same kind of quality. It's incredible. I can't wait to see her. And I
Awesome.
can't wait to
So Clark, how about you? Any top three shows that come to mind?
the, well, the Kansas set that I mentioned before, I would put in up there. Gazpacho on the pool stage. Uh, Spock's Beard on the pool stage,
Mm,
and Merlion in the theater would probably.
okay, I gotcha. I unfortunately don't have quite the history that you do.
Mm.
So I'm going to go with the Marillion show from last year with Nick on bass. Again, special.
yeah. No, that was incredible. And I love Pete Travis to death
Mhm.
on the bass, but holy shit. Marillion with fucking Nick Beggs.
Yeah,
That
I like this.
was wow. Oh my God. When they did Quartz.
that's pretty much what I was about to say. I thought when that bass line in Quartz, he's good. Yeah, so good. I love it. I love it.
It was
Another
a
one
great.
that actually was a favorite for me was Lonely Robot in the Spinnaker.
Wow.
If you
With
happen to
Ames.
remember,
I love
Right.
Steve
yes. Yes, I
Hogarth
remember.
made an
Mhm,
appearance,
mhm.
and Kaylee
Remember that?
Armstrong, who was singing, um, may or may not have been offered a room key by one of our favorite lead singers. So.
Well, he told us at the airport that he gave it to her and then he couldn't get in his room later.
There you go. Nice.
That's hilarious.
Awesome. And I think for me the other another highlight from last year was the Flying Colors show that was in the Stardust. That was a great show.
I would say that the Maroon set list, the fact that it contained Easter, beautiful sugar mice, quartz. I mean, that was a lot better than I was expecting it to be, and I was like, whoa.
Yeah, and Nick had like 2 weeks to prepare. That I mean, that's really impressive.
I that's what he does. Like, so cracks me up.
Yeah, there are some amazing bands that are going to be on this year's cruise. So, um, days away, days away. So I'm so happy everyone was able to join us for today's session. A little bit of discussion
And
about.
you know what? I am super thankful for all of that. And I want to thank everybody for watching and just for knowing that we have a lot to do. We still have some theme music coming from somebody, you know who you are. And I just want to again dedicate this to David Westbay and to also say that this show is brought to you by Marie and Clark and our editor Barry. And I can't wait
I'll edit that out later.
I can't wait to keep it going because it's going to be really great.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in. And if you do hate us or feel that this is completely unpopular, feel free to like and unsub. Is there a way to unsubscribe? I don't know, but
Like, unsubscribe.
like and subscribe and do all that good stuff. And hopefully we will catch you for the next one and share all the amazing things that happened on the cruise. And maybe we'll get someone on that might have been up in Montreal. Who knows? We'll have so much fun. It'll be a great time. But thanks for tuning in and look for us on Facebook and communicate with us any way you want. So that's all I got.
Yeah. Peace out.
Peace out, guys.
Bonus track. I got a ride or die, bitch. I think you get the gist. And when you let me out, I'm gonna blow a little kiss.
I'm sad that we don't have our theme music yet. So I'm going to give Fernando a really hard time next week. You guys fell on the ground. No, the cat came over and knocked it down. Yeah, she's kind of, yeah, she knocked some stuff out of the way. So I was like, oh, shit.
All right. Clark, do you have any ability to turn your volume up a little bit? You were coming in a little low. Sorry. And I only got half your face because I'm like typing on the other. There you go. Nice. Thank you. All right, here we go.